This is Post Credit Thoughts. I'm Al Amin. It was 2017 and the world was opening up. It was a year of autonomy, a year of the kind of work that makes you feel like the kind of person you always hoped you'd become. I was traveling, moving through European airports with my Nigerian passport, embodying a kind of cool, quiet confidence that made me feel cosmopolitan. In Barcelona, I went on a date with an English teacher. We sat across from each other at a tapas bar that smelled of rosemary and hope. She talked at length about her job, the weight of it, the grind, and how much she hated it. At some point, she caught herself. She stopped. She looked at me and asked a question that felt less like an inquiry and more like a declaration. "Is there really anyone," she asked, "who actually loves their job?" I remember looking at her face past the candlelight and just smiling. I remember the feeling of absolute internal certainty. Because it was 2017 and I was in Barcelona for work and I was on a date. In 2024, I moved from Kuala Lumpur to Berlin to become a full-time freelancer. Since then, my work has become increasingly less about passion and more about cold, hard math. X number of videos times Y hours equals Z amount of money. Now invoice that and wait for an indeterminate number of weeks. In 2025, I went back to KL to visit friends I have not seen in over a year. And almost every conversation, every dinner, every late night drink eventually led to the same point: work and how shit it's been. My friend Emilia was laid off. Lee's entire company shut down. Satya walked away from a well-paying job to save his mind. Zainab walked away to save her soul. And Sarah told me about the restroom stalls at work, the damp floors, the chemical lavender smell. She told me how she hides there every day to cry in secret, to let the stress leak out of her eyes for a few minutes before she puts the mask back on and goes back out to continue being a resource. Capitalism loves AI because capitalism loves the squeeze. It loves the math of it, the cold, hard beauty of numbers. The most amount of revenue with the least overhead possible. The tech giants tell our employers that the road to this kingdom of endless revenue is machines, artificial intelligence. They say AI makes things faster, AI makes things easier, AI makes things more efficient. AI, AI, AI. And then the employers turn around and tell us, the workers, that the machine won't replace us, but a human using the machine might. It is a lie, of course. The ultimate goal is the elimination of all workers, everywhere, entirely. The one-person billion-dollar company. But let's take them at their word. It's still not a world I would want to live in, because it's a world that doesn't foster a union. It's a world of contests and tournaments. It puts us in a cage with our friends and tells us that there's only one seat left. It kills cooperation and turns us back into a me. There's a lot of talk about how the film No Other Choice is a lot like Parasite. And yes, the comparison is not unfounded. They are both Korean films about the extremes we go to when the floor starts to drop out from under us. But No Other Choice is a bit more broad, more heavy-handed, and more goofy? The way I described it in my Letterboxd review is that it's a mostly good film with one truly exceptional scene. And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. You were probably at the edge of your seat throughout that sequence, watching a director at the top of their game, masterfully conducting tone. My friend Emilia is currently stitching her life together, one part-time gig at a time. Lee is looking at a blank map, waiting for a path to reveal itself. Satya has found his balance, but his wallet is a lot lighter. Zainab is still out there fighting for money she already earned. And Sarah? Sarah cried yesterday. She cried the day before. And she cried today too, because the squeeze doesn't know a weekend. Tomorrow, she will wake up. She will put on her face. She will put on her shoes. She will go back to the building she hates and do it all over again. In an interview about Parasite, Bong Joon-ho said that we all live in the same country called capitalism. And I think in this film, what Chan-Wook is telling us is that in order to thrive in this country, we have to reach deep inside ourselves. We have to find that thing that is soft, that thing that is human, and we have to kill it. We have to. We have no other choice. This episode of Post-Credit Thoughts was written and produced by me, Al Amin, in February of 2026. I haven't quite figured out what the credits should sound like yet, but thanks for staying with it.